Hello and welcome to The Insider, a show designed to clue you into the biggest news, events and announcements inside the video games industry, discussing with you some things you may know, some things you may not, and the glue that holds it all together is a little bit of my own opinion. My name is Paul James, thank you very much for watching, and let's get for their episode, a very special E3 episode.
He said not to kill him.
Good idea. In fact, we don't have to do this at all if you don't want to.
We definitely want to.
You?
So Sony have just had their PlayStation at E3 2018 press conference, and they've shown us quite a bit. We're going to talk about everything they showed in this episode of The Insider, discussing the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's kick it off.
You were my friend.
Give me the mark.
No. You hear them coming? That's our enemy.
So we knew going into this press conference that we were going to get some stuff from the big four. That's Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, The Last of Us, and Death Stranding. And we got all four of those, and they all look really impressive, and you'll see little clips from those various games dotted throughout this episode. But I was really impressed with how much we got to see of those things. We saw what must have been about 10 to 15 minutes of The Last of Us. We got to see another 10 minutes of Ghost of Tsushima, another 5 to 10 of Death Stranding, and another 5 to 10 of Spider-Man. Spider-Man being the most recent, or the newest of those games, the closest to us. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do going forward beyond this. Spider-Man to this point is the only one that we have a release date for. That is of course coming this October. The rest of those are 2019 or beyond. But it was nice to see all four games get some gameplay. How early those are remains to be seen. In the case of Death Stranding, it was certainly a little bit clunky at times. Camera movement was a little bit jerky. I was wondering if that was them ensuring that they realised that it was in fact gameplay, but it wasn't the cleanest movement there, suggesting that maybe it's got a little bit of work to go. But all four games are looking fantastic, and they are games that if you're a PlayStation fan, you really need to be anticipating going forward. PlayStation did speak about how, as well as the big four, there were going to be some other announcements dotted along the way from third-party publishers. And we got some of those. The first of those we need to discuss is Resident Evil 2 Remake. That game was announced quite some time ago. And it got to the point where some people were beginning to think that maybe the project had been cancelled, but it's back, and back in a really big way. They showed off a little cutscene there that kind of gave us it was a bit of a tone piece. We saw Leon, we saw lots of familiar faces from the Resident Evil franchise, and then we found out that the game is coming January next year. They've gone and pulled the Resident Evil 7 treatment on us, where they've got an announcement release 6 months later. They're doing it again. It worked for Resident Evil 7, sales-wise and critically. He's hoping they can do it again.
I'm giving you an order, rookie. You save yourself first.
Help me, please!
What in God's name?
Next up, I want to talk about Remedy. I did an episode dedicated to Remedy only a few weeks ago where I was talking about what this P7 project was, what it was supposed to be, where we were going to see it, blah, 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 blah. As we now know, the game is to be published by 505 Games, it is developed by Remedy, and it is called Control. Now, I'm sitting there watching this thing, and I'm starting to see, oh, that looks a bit like Quantum Break. There's like, just in terms of some of the visual style, it is a very Remedy game. It looks really cool. I want to see more of it. Check it out. A big surprise for everyone is Nioh 2. Nioh came out for the PS4 and PC last year and was a massive hit. This is a Team Ninja game that was really channeling a lot of what's made Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Demon's Souls, all those games so popular, and now we're getting a sequel. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to see more, and I'm curious to see how it kind of bounces off this Sekiro, the game that was announced on the Xbox stage yesterday. Sekiro is multi-platform, it's the new From Software game, but now they're really both embracing this samurai sort of approach, more so than just kind of a really dark, brooding, evil sort of visual style, but they're now kind of focusing on a similar sort of aesthetic time period. I'm curious how similar these games are now going to look and feel and play, but we'll know more soon. And finally, we'll talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 has appeared on the Microsoft stage, Square Enix's own stage, and now it has appeared at PlayStation's as well. And whilst there were some serious similarities between what we saw at Xbox and at Square Enix, the PlayStation trailer was very different. We got introduced to Frozen in the last batch of trailers that came out with Microsoft and with Square Enix, and today the focus was on Pirates of the Caribbean. That's right, we're going to be playing with Jack Sparrow and the whole crew from the film series, the Disney film series, and kind of shared a bit of insight as to how we're going to be playing, what we're going to be doing. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. The first movie is my favourite movie, full stop. And I know that's, it's not the best movie of all time, but I love it for its tone and its feel. And that's exactly what I got when I was watching this trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3. So I'm really hopeful that we'll get to spend lots and lots of time in that world when the game comes out in January of 2019.
Why are you so happy?
'Cause we get to be pirates again.
Yep, you always did like this world.
Still, it's a real shame we don't have a bigger ship.
So let's talk about some of the not so good things from this press conference. And there's one that I really, really want to focus on. And it's so bad that the name bloody escapes me. Trover saves the universe. Now this is clearly another Rick and Morty Accounting Plus sort of experience. We saw it at the PSX show last year. It didn't wow me then. I keep hearing, oh, you got to have your IQ at a certain level to be able to understand their humour. No, it's trash. There was nothing funny about this thing at all, and it stuck out like a really ugly, crappy sore thumb amongst everything else that PlayStation was doing there. Why did you give this game any time at all?
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Bathtub Guy, and we're here at E3 to take some looks at this new game I'm going to show you right now. Trover Saves the Universe. Let's give it a look. Oh, whoa, there's some action platforming stuff in this little piece of shit. I'm the bathtub guy. I'm always in my bathtub, but, that's not about me right now. It's about this game. Whoa, look at that. That's exciting footage I just saw. Oh, I'm playing it right now. Look at me. I'm a cool cucumber over here playing this cool game. Jesus Christ! Oh my God, somebody call 711 because that's the emergency dial number for this in this weird part of the galaxy because this is a sci-fi based thing. Help! He's got electrocuted.
There was another thing that wasn't all that great about this thing. The lack of new games, new exclusives. I just don't get it. PlayStation had its big four, and that's fine. Some of these games are a fair way off. But we know that Dreams is a work in progress. Where was that? It was there they created little interludes out of the game for the entire time. They teased it but showed us nothing. They spoke to the developers in the post-show. Didn't really tell us too much at all. Some strange things are going on there. They've got games in the form of Dreams, in the form of Days Gone, and they're not spotlighting them. I don't get it. Like they're throwing all their eggs in these four baskets, and The Last of Us, Spider-Man, Death Stranding, and Ghost of Tsushima are looking fantastic. I'm really, really excited for them, but they've got some other stellar games here that are just begging for an opportunity, and you've ignored them, and you're sending them out to die. You're sending Days Gone, for example, out on the same day as Anthem. It's not like I'm hopeful. It's a PlayStation exclusive game, and it's got its audience, and I'm a big fan of it. I'm hopeful that the thing does well. But they're not giving us opportunities to see why this game's so awesome. And then it's falling on a release date that is already so crowded that it's going to struggle for a bit of airspace and a bit of oxygen on the day. And then Dreams, they're just saying nothing about it all. There's Concrete Genie sitting on the side. I don't understand what PlayStation's doing here. It's really quite strange. And finally, the ugly. And it was real ugly. The way that this press conference was structured was a mess. It was fantastic when, as a viewer on a monitor and a screen, the event opened up and this beautiful looking church of sorts, and they introduced to The Last of Us, and then it turns out that the church that everyone was there and standing in was the same church that's been rendered in the game. It was looking great. I was really excited about that. They showed The Last of Us stuff. It was awesome. Like I said before, 10 to 15 minutes of it. It was great. And then they cut away to an interlude, an intermission, because they needed to pick up everyone who was in there, 90% of whom had to stand up, which never happens at any press conference. Pick them all up and move them into another building. So for us that was sitting there at home, we're sitting through 10 to 15 minutes of this intermission for no real apparent reason, so they can move people into another building. It killed so much momentum that they'd built off the back of one game, one excellent game, and they lost all that momentum and had to pick it back up. And people who were there were visibly frustrated. You could see it on Twitter. You could see it when they returned and they were doing panoramic zooms all around the room there just to get a bit of the feel for the crowd. There wasn't a feel from the crowd. They were pissed. It was so poorly constructed. I know PlayStation wants to do different things. They did it when they had PSX last year, and it was a nice affair. Like, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was a nice affair. You got to have that casual chat about the games that were coming, and we got some insight from the developers, and I think that's fine if you have that very traditional sort of experience at the other part of the year, i.e. E3, and they didn't do it. They butchered it. They didn't go for that same PSX approach. I think they probably learnt their lesson from the response last time around, but what they did with E3 still didn't work either. They need to go back to basics, specifically with E3. I think I can deal with the PSX structure going forward now that we know what to expect. But for E3, this thing didn't work, and they need to revise that going forward. It was really poorly done. Sony, please reconsider it.
See, I told you. He should be terrified.
And so that concludes another episode of The Insider. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking, sharing and subscribing. All those buttons are down below here, and hit that notification bell and you'll be alerted to every video that goes live on this channel. That includes Patched, the Video Games Club, The Insider, Player 2 Plays, the Late Game Review, all our E3 content. There's some awesome stuff there, so please make sure to go and check it out. For written content, visit the website player2.net.au, where you'll find reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, the Player 2 Writers Draft, our E3 hub that has links to these videos, and a whole bunch of written content all about E3. There's some awesome stuff there contributed by some of the best talent in Australia, so please make sure to go and check it out. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au. Kick in a few dollars. At the lower tiers, you'll get early access to a whole range of different episodes, including Patched, The Insider, Player 2 Plays, and the higher tiers, you'll get exclusives of those episodes, and at the top tier, you can join us in the monthly Player 2 podcast. There's some awesome incentives there. You're helping the Player 2 dream to grow, so thank you in advance. We hope to see you there soon. For rolling updates, you can find me at PaulJamesP2 on Twitter. The website, you can find at Player2au on Twitter. And until next time, which is Nintendo. PlayStation had the last of the conventional press conferences. We've got one Nintendo Direct to go. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.